What's popping?
You sound so dead inside.
I don't know what the fuck. I've never done this fucking thing before. This is a thing that you and Kate do, and I'm so new to this.
Yeah. Hello, I am your Vengeance / podcast host, Joey, and introduce yourself.
Oh shit, right, sorry. Yo, it's me, your boy, Sam, otherwise known as Blocks. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you didn't catch it, we're talking about Batman for now.
We're talking about Batman because we're fucking 5 months late and we suck at this.
The movie's on. What was it? We talked about this back when it was still in theaters, and then it was like, I think it came out like on DVD like a month ago.
It was a couple months ago. It came out on DVD. Like, we talked about it when it first came out in theaters. We're like, hey, we should talk about this some more. Yeah, we just completely fucking ditched it. It comes out on, like, Blu-ray. We're like, hey, we should talk about this again. Hell yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Couple months later, again, here we are.
To be fair, I've been so busy.
I mean, I don't blame you. I've been busy too, so, like...
I've had air quotes family vacations and just been busy. The sun has been killing me. I've been working on a game for another 3 months, longer than I want to, but I'm still enjoying it. But hey, none of that. We're here for the Batman, though. That's what you clicked on the video for, or the podcast, wherever we put this. I actually don't know. Katie takes care of all that. I just show up.
And now it's your time to shine, Joey.
It is my time to shine. I have nothing written. I've basically forgotten the movie, except for like the points I like about it. But that's... I don't remember the plot in the slightest, but we don't need to talk about the plot.
Do I have to read the IMDb description to you? I have it in front of
me. Big note, because this movie is a mystery one, and you haven't seen it, we do recommend this movie.
Absolutely.
And this is technically a review of it.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a mystery, and we kind of have to go into the actual, plot twists of the mystery. So, there you go.
You have been
Good
warned.
Luck.
It has been out
You've been warned.
It's been out for a few months now. If you have HBO,
again, we're super late.
It.
If you haven't seen it, we're more confused with you than you are with us. So...
If you're American, just watch it on HBO. But if you're Canadian, good fucking luck, because nobody wants to watch it on Crave. Of all the streaming services out there, no one gives a shit about Crave, but yet that's where all of our stuff is ending up on in Canada.
Your options, Netflix or Crave. Well, I guess you guys have Disney Plus still, but that doesn't count for everything else. So,
yeah.
Which part do we want to talk? We want to talk about the movie first, like as its plot, or what we thought about like actors and things like that.
Well, shit. Sorry.
What is the main thing you look for in a movie?
The main thing I look for in a movie is characters. Plot is plot. It is getting our characters from one point to another. I have always thought that like interesting characters are way more important than a like fully fleshed out story. That helps. It absolutely helps. But yeah.
So like I'm actually more surprised about the actors that I actually saw in this movie. Well, like I've known about Mr. Patterson for like years now, being in this movie. It's been like right. Wait, this movie was supposed to come out like what, 2 years ago too, or something?
I think it was supposed to come out like mid to late last year, and then like COVID kind of slowed that down.
Yeah, the long story. Literally, like most of the podcast episodes that were about the movie was like, hey, wasn't this movie supposed to come out like a year ago?
Yep. And then everything got delayed. This was before the dark times.
The dark times. So I've been very excited for him to being the Batman, just because, one, I love the irony of it, that he took on another Bat role.
That was pretty great, yeah.
It's like, I don't know, kind of the irony casting, this is great. And also, I think he did a really good job. I mean, as my father would say, he didn't play Bruce Wayne, so I don't know how that will be going down the line, but seeing as I actually like him as Mr. Diggory in Harry Potter. I'm pretty sure he'll knock Bruce Wayne out of the park once he gets to do that.
Or are you talking about like more Playboy Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, the more Playboy Bruce Wayne. I'm the Mask.
I feel like that has to like come at some point because like we did get Bruce Wayne in this movie. He was, but he's not like he's still very much a recluse. He's kind of the whole like
it's very I think maybe it's because I'm a Batman fan for too long. But whenever I watch anything year one, it makes sense for him to be the least fun Batman to some extent. I'm the edgy teen guy, because I've watched a lot of year ones where it's just that it's just him brooding. Like there are other places in his life where you can go, oh, it can be a little more lighthearted, or we can do a little more with Batman in other senses. Yeah. But year one is usually kind of he's still moderately mulling over the whole dead parents thing, so it kind of makes sense for him to be that way.
I think year two was honestly like a super like solid choice for this kind of a Batman, just because you don't have like the extremely like have to wrinkle out all the kinks with like year one Batman, but he's also like still not perfectly ironed out like year 5 or 7.
I have to bring my dad, because me and my dad are the Batman heads of the family here. Mm-hmm. So we talk about Batman a lot and what we like and dislike of certain depiction. So like as he said, that's what it was. So for any of those really hardcore Batman fans who just go, he's the Batman kind of thing, is like nothing gets past him and whatnot. So my dad was almost like that, but because they made it a year one Batman, they could get away with that a lot more.
Yeah.
Because he's not the detective yet. Him missing things makes sense in this version.
Yeah.
If they did, I guess a good example is Ben Affleck's version, which is supposed to be, what is it, like the most oldest version,
like
incarnations
10
of Batman,
or like 15 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been Batman for years, and nothing should go by him. That's usually everyone's peak version of Batman in most incarnations. You catch him at his peak where he barely misses anything. I
personally really like the Batman stories where he's like still a little bit messy, where he's not fully like 100% peak like human like athletics or like smartest person in the room all the time. I like just him being still somewhat of an average dude.
Just enough. I like being able to be just enough on Batman's level of like figuring it out myself. Not where he's like, I know this. And now I'm like, what do you know, Batman? Can you please tell the rest of the class? Because I'm lost in the plot now.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going here, but I will moderately... I don't know. I'm one of the weird people who does... I don't know. That's what it is. Batman's one of those weird things where I've liked different parts of him as I've grown up, too.
Batman, I think, is one of the few characters where, like, I'm really open to a lot of interpretations.
Yeah.
Where, like, Spider-Man for me is, like, very much Peter Parker is Peter Parker. You kind of have to somewhat keep him the same. I like where he, like,
keep
goes
him
a little bit...
somewhere in that kid zone of don't go too dark. Because no one apparently likes when they go dark with Spider-Man.
I like that.
At least somewhere.
I like
him going slightly dark.
Not
too dark.
I like weirdo, kind of darker Spider-Man stuff. But, like, as long as it's not, like... angsty and edgy for the sake of being angsty and edgy.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I like being able to have a Batman who's, like, open to so many different interpretations. Like, you have Tim Burton's, which is very gothic, and you have Joel Schumacher's, who's very, like, campy and, like, very flamboyant. I love that, like, there's so much, like, room to grow.
So
what's
interesting about this, and especially with Patterson's, is interesting because... in the way they've set him up with, whole spoilers, so he starts out as edgy, but then he seems to be transitioning into what you would call the middle ground Batman.
Yeah.
So the Batman that we've seen in Batman the Animated Series, Brave and the Bold, that kind of thing, where he's still to himself, but he's more lighthearted. Like you know that he has a heart in there that's that's beyond his trauma helping people.
He's not a creature of the night at the end of the movie. He's like a genuine, like...
he's a superhero at the end. The
protector.
urban legend died, basically.
Yeah. He's still the... he's still the Batman at the end of the movie, but at the end of the movie, he's also, like, someone that, like, people can actually, like, look up to.
And it's probably the one thing, like, in most audiences of minds, especially thanks to Christopher Nolan, it's the version of Batman we haven't really gotten to see on the screen.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't remember what happened to Batman and Robin, because that's probably the closest we got to having that kind of Batman on screen. Well, that and Adam West, but that doesn't count because that's too far the other direction. But point being...
This is like I'd feel like this is the first time we've actually been able to properly see that outside of like the animated series and like the Justice League cartoon and stuff like that, where he's like still like he can still be like threatening to like the common thug or whatever if he needs to be, but he can also be like genuinely like compassionate.
Yeah. We don't get that often, especially with how a lot of people treated Batman recently.
Oh my god, yeah. I want my Batman to throw fucking crates of wood at fucking bad guy's head. Fuck you for stealing a loaf of bread, jackass. Like, I'm gonna run you over with my fucking bat tank for jaywalking. Like, sorry, I'm very opinionated.
And speaking of the Batmobile, because I like trying to transition thing, I love the Batmobile in this one.
Oh, dude!
It kind of reminds me of the Telltale Batmobile, where it's like, yeah, that seems like a sports car that's a guy with money would have, and then he changed it to be more Batman. Also, I just like the Charger. The Charger's a really cool vehicle for a lot of like the darker characters and superheroes. That
was always one of my biggest issues with, or at least one of my biggest pet peeves in Christopher Nolan's Batman. It was like, you have this guy who prides himself on being this super stealthy like ninja. He's able to like get into
that's right.
Like the building in Hong Kong and like kidnap that guy to bring him back to the States to be tried. But nah, this guy also has a fucking tank that he just plows through everything with. Like, that makes zero sense to me.
I guess the Charger isn't the most stealthy thing in the world either, but flames.
It makes more sense for a car chase.
It makes more sense.
It's practical. It's a car. It's not a literal tank. The Tumbler makes no sense as a vehicle.
Like, no, I can't. No, it's really weird. I never thought anything about the Tumbler being a weird Batman thing, but now I'm like looking back on like every single Batman vehicle leading up to that, and all of them are way better for the primary thing which he was known for, which is stealth. The Tumbler is the strangest thing in Batman. Like, it makes sense for maybe, I don't know, what, Ben Affleck's version when he's driving around that area?
Yeah, it makes sense for Ben Affleck because he's shown to be in that movie just fucking shit up constantly. Give him a tank. Why not? It makes sense.
Wait. Because, what is it? Old Man Batman? I don't remember what it's called. That one comic one. He drives a tank.
Oh, you're talking about when Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns. He does drive a tank in that one.
But like...
He doesn't... But that's like the only version of Batman where he's not being stealthy.
It makes sense in that movie. He's supposed to be
blatantly out.
It makes sense in that comic. He's not trying to be stealthy. He's trying to be like, yo, I'm here. I'm gonna fuck people up in my fucking bat tank.
I can't believe I never thought back of like, because all of the Christopher Nolan is literally him doing full ninja training, and he's like, you know what I need is a tank. I need a tank. Not modify a vehicle I already own or anything, because, you know, the Green Hornet did that. He just modified vehicles to make it a car that's a tank. Nah, the Tumbler. Yeah, that's right. Let's get it in black, bro. That'll be stealthy enough, right?
Yeah, just have this fucking giant, colossal fucking piece of machinery hurling at you like at 150 miles per hour.
Wait,
I am
wait.
vengeance. Like fuck.
I just realized. Wait, that thing had an autopilot thing where it was driving around to him, right? And it just slightly rolls up in certain scenes, if memory serves me right.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it though. It's just because I just realized there has to be some scenes where you just don't hear it, and it doesn't make sense.
I remember like Batman Begins, where he's trying to like get Rachel to like I think a hospital or like back to the Batcave or something, and he's just like plowing through fucking shit on the highway. Well, like, the cop helicopters and, like, the police cars are just chasing after him. And, like, Alfred later on is like, what the fuck did you do? What are they showing on the TV? And he just replies, that's damn good television. It's like, what the... It's like, dude, what the fuck? Oh, my God.
Back on the act. Oh gosh darn it. Okay, I used to know who played Gordon in this one because I saw him in something else, and it was the mustache that I don't know what it is, but Gordon seems to have the same mustache in every incarnation that lets me go, no matter who the actor is, I go, that's probably Gordon.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright played Gordon.
What was he else in? Do you know? Because I vaguely remember. I have to actively watch an actor throughout their movies to actually know them in their other roles.
I am scouring his IMDb right now, so tell me if you know if... Oh, he was the Watcher in Marvel's What If.
Ah, right. Yeah, okay, that's why the name specifically.
The voice
I
makes
knew
sense, at least, yeah.
Yeah. So I liked him as Gordon. He's a pretty good Gordon.
Oh yeah, he was great. I loved him.
Loved him. That's what. So that's basically. Oh no. The Penguin. The Penguin was funny to me.
Colin Farrell.
Because who it actually turned out to be. It's like, what, really?
Apparently, there was a story about him going to go get coffee at like Starbucks or something with the makeup on, and like nobody knew who the hell he was. They just thought he was this fucking like weirdo freak that like walked in for coffee.
It's just a Danny DeVito cosplayer, guys. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, he was great in there. I wasn't expecting the Penguin to be so fucking funny, dude. Like, he was really funny in that.
I love the scene, which, by the way, my favorite part of this whole movie was like all the puzzles and things and figuring it out, because I like those. That's what it was. So number one thing, to quickly, just so I can wrap things around. Mm-hmm. So what I told my father, and I have not told anyone else this, but it felt like a more taken seriously version of Jim Carrey's Riddler thing from Batman and Robin, I think it is, right?
Batman Forever, I believe.
Okay, Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Because it's basically the exact same plot. Riddler leaves clues for Batman specifically that leads into whatever the primary scheme. The end goals were different, but both of them involved the Riddler doing exactly the same thing. Both versions had really good riddlings between them, leaving something behind. I don't know. It's just funny to me that they basically did the same thing twice, but then moderately better and taken more seriously about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and this comes back to my like the thing that I said before, that like I love when Batman is like taken in like different directions and like just has like weird shit happen. Like you can have like you can have Schumacher's Batman, and you can have like Matt Reeves' Batman, and like they can do their own thing, and at the end of the day, they're still Batman. I think that both Riddlers are equally good. I love Jim Carrey.
Okay. Yeah.
I love Paul Dano. They're both great. Yeah. Because they're both like fucking weirdos. They're both just these absolute like
nerdy dude that's like, I like Batman.
They're both losers, like absolute losers. Like Paul Dano's Riddler like does some like pretty fucked up shit in this movie, but at the end of the movie, He's just a whimpering little loser that didn't get what he wanted. Yeah. Like he is in the comics. Like,
yeah,
that's an absolutely true take. And like
the one time they tried to make Riddler actually intimidating on like the normal front that isn't just him being smart, that movie wasn't liked. Specifically, that was more just like because they literally changed the ending to that to make it the Riddler, and that was Hush.
Oh,
the Hush movie.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, and that was the other movie I compared this to, where it's like it's that horrible Hush cartoon done right. I still liked it, but I didn't like Riddler. Big old question mark on his forehead. He looked intimidating, but it was not.
Yeah.
I found this Riddler's get up a lot scarier than the big buff dude with a question mark on his forehead. Just saying.
Yeah. I personally wasn't a fan of the Hush comic. I thought it was like, oh, we have this really cool mystery we're setting up, and then it just fucking falls completely flat on its face at the end.
The Hush comic I've still heard is good. It's the Hush animated movie 2-parter I've heard no one likes.
I haven't,
because they changed everything to it.
I haven't seen the animated movie. I've just read the comic.
Sorry,
and I'm not a fan.
Spoilers. Comic. It was not the Riddler. The animated one made it the Riddler.
Yeah.
They literally, I think, what was it? At some point, they actually shot the original guy that's supposed to be the end game or something. It's so weird. Because I like the Hush design, by the way, as well. I just don't like the Hush design when they put Riddler in it. Because he takes off the Hush part, and then he's just a big dude with a question mark on his forehead. I get we have some weird and not as intimidating costumes in comics, but like, I don't know, guys. That one I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. From what I've seen of the actual Hush, I seem to like it, but what I ended up getting to see was worse. So
that's one thing that I think this movie does pretty well, is the fact that, like, it's a Batman story. It's a fucking detective story. He actually solves crimes. He's not just going around kicking the shit out of people. He's actually trying to solve a case, which is...
Yeah. And the puzzles are great. I enjoyed those. I like took notes on some of them because I'm like, I like that. That symbol puzzle was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good like bait and switch puzzle on ya.
Thumb drive was just Thumb drive was the funniest joke in the movie. Just hands down, it was so good.
My theater literally chuckled. There's like maybe like two to three coughs of people like, what are you talking about? And I think my mom and my sister were like, huh? But me and my dad were definitely laughing at it.
Oh, that was pretty great, yeah.
I like the thumb drive. Sorry, okay. We're a little mixed, but let's see here. What was it? So you said that. Okay. Back to actors, I guess, because we're not entirely done with them. Because there's one specific actor. It took me a hot minute to realize who it was, and then I remembered a peeing transformer, and I'm like, wait, he's in a movie?
Oh, you're talking about Falcone, yeah.
Yeah. I was so... because I was staring at this man for this whole movie going, is that who I think it is? Is that...
It's John Turturro.
Is that Sector 7?
It's the man that was... It was the man that was immediately below the enemy scrotum in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
I was like, yo, it's so cool he gets to really do so... Like, I liked him as the wacky Sector 7 dude, but like...
Oh, he's in he's actually in a lot of indie movies. And apparently he's like a...
Is that what he's been doing? Okay.
Yeah. He was in... what's that fucking movie called? It's a Coen Brothers movie. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Okay. That's what it is. He was really good in that one. He was one of the brothers.
Yeah.
He was great.
So
loved it in that.
Yeah, so it was just a surprise to see him playing like one of like, what is it? Like, one of the other biggest Batman villains, I guess?
Yeah.
From his the gangster. It's just so fascinating. It was great.
He was so fucking creepy in the movie, too. Like,
Yeah!
he was just like, oh, I don't want to be around this guy. Just, ugh.
It's one of those sad I saw him, spoilers, everybody. He was shot, so I don't know if we're going to see him in any future movies as that character. I mean, it's comics, so who knows? I forget what happens to... I'm pretty sure Falcone just stays dead whenever they kill him off, so...
Yeah. Unless they do, like... Unless it's, like, flashback stuff, but I don't know if they're going to do anything with that.
So, yeah, it's one of those, yes, he's dead because he creeped me out, but also, we're not going to see him play the character at all, though. Damn. I really liked it with this movie. What was it? And then, gosh darn, I forgot her name, but the person who plays Catwoman in this is pretty good too. Zoe
Kravitz, the lady who Twitter obsessed over for like a month because everyone thought that she was hot as shit. Which, I mean, she is.
I mean, yeah, but you just don't do that. I have that as a rule of thumb. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't obsess over people. People are fucking their own people. People have personalities. It's weird to obsess over human beings.
My rule of thumb in general, like, don't be thirsty to people online, especially if they have somewhere online where you can just at them and just start sending thirst. It's like, don't do that. Please don't. Unless, like that's specifically their job, possibly. But that's its own hill. But, like, normal celebrities / actors, please don't.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of thirst, I have
Catwoman, but, like...
Speaking of thirst, I have a good question for you.
Yeah? Top 10 hottest DC girls.
No, I was going to ask who your favorite Alfred is at this point.
Oh! Right, that's not okay.
Speaking of thirst, who's your favorite Alfred?
I like to. Right, I forgot he's in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The one who played Alfred in this one, which for any, I know his name, but for all the normal people, yeah, Andy Serkis, also known as Gollum, Claw, and a few others.
Also known as literally every mocap character in Hollywood.
So, alright, I do find it funny, I mean, I know Alfred's supposed to be British, but it is funny, like, every, like, person you've ever thought of that was a pretty cool British guy has now all have played Alfred at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Hilariously enough, like, no matter how bad the movie is, the Alfred they get is someone you probably know, and British.
And even if the movie's bad, he's still, like
he's the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Even if the movie's great, he's still like, yeah, you remember Alfred? Oh, dude, Alfred was so good. And it's like, that can literally be applied to anybody.
Quotes, too. All the Alfreds have some quote that's been used for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of most of them right now, but my point is, like, I've seen the memes for, like, the Dark Knight one with the whole watching the world burn. They're, like, all of them have at least one quote you've seen circle the world many a times. And I know, I mean, I haven't been paying attention, but there were a couple lines that our most recent Alfred has also done that are, like, really quotable and whatnot. So I'm expecting the memes of it. I just haven't been in the circulation for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm pretty certain they exist. So it is, I don't know. It's, to slap my own meme, it's like, if I had a nickel for every time an Alfred had a really good quotable quote, and he was a very famous British actor of the time. I have a lot of nickels at this point, because it's really hilarious. So many times it's every single time.
Oh, Batman. Oh, Batman, my Batman.
Batman. Ooh. Okay, I think that's... Okay, so now we've covered the actors. I guess I can cover more plot things. Because one of the things about the plot I really liked was... It was a good, like, combination of different plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
Of different famous, air quotes, famous, like, Batman lines. So, The Long Halloween and another one.
Give me a minute. I have a folder with, like, Batman comics in it. Okay, so Long Halloween. Fuck. Where is this other one? Ego, and Other Tales was like there was one story in there that I honestly thought was very much like this.
So in case the hardcore Batman fans aren't watching, Long Halloween was another one that also got an animated adaptation recently, which actually I remember being pretty good. But basically, Long Halloween is supposed to be a crime happened on one Halloween, and then it continued to happen for all the other seasons, all the way back to the next Halloween. And so that's the primary structure this movie took on. Was we start? I think it takes basically a year in movie for this whole thing to get over with.
This?
Because
the plot of the movie?
Yeah, because it starts in the Halloween, and then they show us dates and everything. Like it takes them a while. I could be wrong. I don't remember.
I remember there being like a month or so.
Okay, maybe it's more of a month.
Because like I think it's yeah, because I think it's like mid to late November that like. Because his monologue at the end of the movie, he's like, da 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 da. Oh, I saved the city, blah blah blah. This place is ruined and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like a month or like a couple weeks.
Oh yeah. So it does not follow it fully, but like it specifically having it happen on Halloween is its primary reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
If memory serves me right, this movie does. It's been a while, but there is a lot of good references to parts of Batman's history in this movie too. It's been too long for me to actually go through it. I just know Long Halloween was a specific reference to them starting the plot on Halloween specifically.
Yeah.
As a part of it. I think most of this Riddler thing is supposed to be a couple Easter eggs of different Batman plot lines that he's had over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think like just the basic premise of like the whole like detective crime story mixed with like mob elements is very dark. Not Dark Victory. Long Halloween as well. No, we're not at Dark Victory yet. We still need a Robin. Speaking of which, when are we getting
a Robin?
When are we getting a Robin? Like it's been long enough. Come on.
We haven't had a Robin since Batman and Robin, hilariously enough.
The worst take on the character, like...
Yeah, I know. The actor was great, it's just the... At the end of the day, the actor is a good, like, Nightwing / Robin guy to play him. He had a really good movie about it. 2, actually, now that I think about it. But, like, we haven't had a Robin since actually end up on the screen, which I just realized now. That's really funny.
And fucking Batman versus Superman doesn't count, you dickheads. That was a statue, and he was dead at that point.
Right.
That doesn't count.
Thank you. Commenter. Yeah, commenter. Wait, yeah, no, that guy doesn't count. He's dead. He's not even in the story. Isn't it supposed to be, like, implied there's been a couple Robins? There just wasn't currently a Robin during those events of those movies?
I think, if I remember correctly, it was just one Robin, and it was either Dick Grayson or Jason Todd.
Jason, okay, yeah. Got it. Yeah. So that's the most... I mean, we do have Titans. But again, that's not the movie, so we'll ignore that entirely.
That does not count. That will never count. I'm sorry. That show is hot trash.
I would love the guy who what is he called? I don't remember what his name is online. He's a YouTuber who did like a web series as Nightwing or something. And he's been really, from what I've seen of everything of like his career as that, he's a really good live action Nightwing. So it would be cool for him to just walk onto a set in one of these movies and be like, I'm Nightwing now.
I just wish we had an actual proper Robin. Like Robin is Robin is so intertwined with the Batman character that it feels weird that like we haven't had that. And to have so many people to be like, oh, but Robin would water down a Batman movie. It's like, then you're missing most of the point of Batman. Like,
yeah,
Robin keeps him grounded.
We have the Alfred part, but that's the, I guess you call it. Alfred's the father part. Robin's the other father. I don't know what.
Robin's the son. Robin is like basically son. Bruce Wayne's son.
Robin is the thing that helps Bruce move on from the tragedy or something along those lines. Whether it be psychoanalyzing my superheroes, but point is, I get like most of the time. Like I mean, like we know like, and I mean people make jokes about it. It's like Robin tones it down, but also, how scary it is that there's a kid running around with this psycho in tights. It's like, yeah, so there's a way to do Robin without toning it down, but would anyone want to watch it because it'd be horrifying if you took it too seriously? But also, you know, like I kind of want to see it. I'm very curious who we can drag in to be Robin at this point.
I feel like we will get like a Dick Grayson at some point.
Yeah. I want to watch his family fall from the sky again.
I mean, we didn't see Batman's parents like murdered on screen for the 50th time, so I feel like we can do a Robin story without without seeing the flying Graysons fucking plummet to death.
I hate to say this, but now that I've thought of it, so I went through. I was looking through shorts and I found this Teen Titans Go short where they're pranking each other, and so the Titans are pranking Robin, and it's like, yeah, your parents are in here, and things, and like it's one of those things where I'm already like mixed on the writers of Teen Titans Go, but for them to be both like, I don't know, it was a funny, but I was sad. Because he's literally, Robin's like, yay, my parents are in here. Oh, where are they? Oh, you rascallions, you tricked me. And he starts crying. And I'm like, they're confirming that this version of Robin had his parents die, and he's in denial about it. And that is probably the best dark joke I've ever seen from the show. Because it's like, okay, guys, you need to pull back. Kids watch this. You don't want to do that to them.
I think kids can handle that though. I think,
yeah,
like I don't know. You should be able to tell a story like that without.
You can tell a story about that, but like the joke of like people like, why was Robin crying in this episode? Like I found it funny, and then just finding out Robin's parents have been dead for years, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a show that has like that hasn't really talked about it before, like I guess that could seem.
It's a show specifically that's a comedy, so it is weird that they've done it, but it did throw me off. It's probably the best dark comedy joke they did in the entirety of this whole cluster fire of a show, but it was just I'm just going through and like even the comments were like, that's a oh boy.
Yeah.
So I would like to see. Anyway, we want Robin. I like Two-Face again. We've done Two-Face how many times again?
We've had Two-Face. I want to say once, but technically we've had him twice. I don't like Tommy Lee Jones. He was so fucking bad in that movie. That wasn't Two-Face. That just wasn't. That was some fucking some guy high on like copious amounts of crack. Just like screaming into oh god, he was so bad into that.
I liked him when I was a kid, but like I went back and watched and I'm like, okay, I still like it, but that's because I like that. But I don't see Two-Face in that character at all.
Yeah, that was just that was awful. But yeah, Two-Face would be Two-Face would be great. Like Two-Face is one of my favorite Batman villains, and I'd love to see him like done again. Because I really liked him in The Dark Knight, and I don't know, seeing Two-Face again would be kind of sick, just in like a different way. But if I had my pick for any of his Batman's Rogues Gallery coming back, or like being interpreted in this Batman's universe, it's Mr. Freeze. I want Mr. Freeze so bad.
Different actor or same actor?
No, different. I want him to be completely different, completely new. No tie to the goofy fucking Mr. White Christmas fucking Batman and Robin stuff. No, I want like something similar to, and I know I think it would be a bit of a stretch just because of like some of the stuff they've already established in this in this kind of world. But like the whole sci-fi kind of aspect I really liked about Mr. Freeze. Yeah. And I wish they would like figure something out with that because I love Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Me too. It is funny that hold on.
Like Heart of Ice is my favorite favorite episode of the animated series. It's so good. And I know it's a cop out to say that because like it got nominated for a bunch of awards, but man, I love that episode.
Yeah. I remember watching it once, being like, yes, dark.
It's so good. It's just like it's melancholy. It's like sad, but he's also like really intense and really like threatening at the same time.
I think that was so I think what's funny about it is like if I know my time is correct, so that came out and then they did the Batman thing with Mr. Freeze. Hello? Oh, well, thank you. So they kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of funny to me how technically Arnie got to slightly do that, but also they were really doubling down on the whole crazy.
Oh, that movie was just a mess. This Warner Brothers really fucked that movie over.
Yeah. But on this one, which no one has screwed over, what else do we want to talk about this movie specifically?
Yeah, I know. We keep kind of getting like off topic and
we're going off of Batman and
we're talking about like Batman, just the broad concept of Batman, which I'm fine with. I actually like got into Batman this year, which is something new.
Me and Katie did talk a lot about Spider-Man's adjacent stuff, just because, you know,
it's kind of
to understand how people mostly feel about the current movie is, you know, we've had actually Spider-Man's in the same boat as Batman, hilariously enough, where there's just been enough reincarnations of them in the movie industry that it's hard not to look at that movie in isolation on its own.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about anything new that comes out of Batman or Spider-Man or any of these properties because like it's been done so many times before. It's always open to new interpretation.
Like for Superman, like we don't get to see him often on the big screen as much as Batman and Spider-Man have.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the complaints of like both Spider-Man and Batman barely show that main part of their origins anymore.
Yeah.
Because we've had it reset, and so the audience is already fresh about that it's hard to still do that without people being like, well, I've seen this already. Just move on with your version of the guy and skip that part. Which ended up being a moderate problem in Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man for the most part. Because they kind of just dropped that. They ended up actually dropping that from his character entirely, that they had to do it in No Way Home to reset him properly.
Yeah.
Which is probably my main complaint of No Way Home, but like they couldn't do it. They couldn't do that guy again and kill him. They had to kill a new character, but like, well, not new, but you get my point.
You couldn't see Uncle Ben killed for the 50th time in a row.
Yeah. So like we can watch Krypton blow up a few more times because Superman rarely gets movies now.
I feel like I understand where you're coming from with that take, but I feel like Superman of all these characters doesn't really need to have Krypton blowing up for people to get it.
Yeah.
It's just more of because I mean his origins, like
the most well-known origins ever in general, right?
Yeah, one of the most well-known origins ever is literally like 2 pages of the original comic. Not even.
Yeah.
It's like, his planet was dying. Fucking he was sent to Earth. Whoa, like,
yeah. It's a simple one, but like, so
it makes sense for a character like Aquaman or like the Flash or like people like characters that like people kind of know, but people aren't like super.
You have to be a diehard fan to be like, oh yeah, those origins. I've seen that too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've seen it probably everywhere else, but in the movies, not a lot of people have seen their origins that often.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Shazam for the first time on screen.
Yeah, that's a fucking miracle movie. Holy crap! I never thought that would exist.
Yeah, can't wait for Black Adam.
I'm nervous.
I'm hoping that one's good.
I'm nervous.
I am
Black
nervous
Adam.
about it.
I'm nervous just because it not be like partially because of The Rock. Not because I hate The Rock, I just know that his contracts and his movies mean that he has to win every fight ever, and that just is gonna make the movie fucking boring.
I guess it's hard to believe in trailers these days, because the trailer I watched when I went to see a movie recently does seem to have him be somewhere in there defeated, for him to have his anti-hero go from villain to anti-hero origins or something like that.
Black Adam being an anti-hero is so weird to me, at least. Because I read a decent amount of like the Captain Marvel comics, and it's like Black Adam was a fucking monster, like a tyrannical monster, and you're gonna make him a anti-hero? It makes sense for Venom, because like what the fuck else are you gonna do with him? But like, I mean,
that's the funny story. Wait, hold on. So the funny story about all these new anti-hero movies, which I'm guessing is done after the Deadpool thing.
Yeah.
But what's funny is the main reason people kind of accept them for anti-hero movies, instead of having him be a villain first, then become an anti-hero, is because most of their current love in the comics is them being anti-heroes, not villains. Deadpool was a villain, but he's been an anti-hero for like ages now in the comics. Same thing with Venom and Mobius. So just skipping them straight into being anti-heroes makes sense. I don't know much about Black Adam, and so it is. I never thought we were going to just have a Black Adam movie to begin with. I thought we were going to get Shazam 2 with Black Adam in it.
Yeah.
And then maybe go into this, but going straight into Black Adam was a surprise in my book. We'll find out if that's a welcome surprise in weeks to come, but... mm-hmm. My main thought is, are we going to get a jungle scene with Black Adam?
I don't know.
I don't know. Looking at the Dwayne's like repertoire recently, there's not a jungle scene. I am very curious how they got him to do this.
Does he just like have a house in like secluded by jungle, and he just goes out on his like front porch and he's like, okay, I did my scenes for the day, I'm gonna go hit the gym? Like, is that it, or like, I don't know.
I can't wait for Jungle 3. Jumanji 3. I want Jumanji 3. That's my new favorite, like, primarily Dwayne Johnson movie. This is not Dwayne Johnson. I don't want to go down that road. But
hey, remember when this episode was about Batman?
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've covered everything. I mean, like, I don't know. What do you know what most of the reception is of Batman was? Because I know there are a lot of people going, how dare... not even Batman fans, just people just didn't like it. And I don't know why.
The reception to this movie was, like, pretty positive for the most part. A lot of people liked it. I mean, I like it. A lot of people that, like... I went to go see this movie with a bunch of people, and some of them weren't, like, big comic book fans at all, and they were like, yeah, I really like this movie. It's good. It's like, it holds up. Yeah. So, but a lot of the, like, negative feedback I've seen, at least from this movie, mostly just comes from the overwhelmingly loud...
Batman luggage.
overwhelmingly loud Snyder fans.
Got it, yeah.
So, like...
He didn't kill enough people, because Snyder says he's a killer. It's like, well, no. Actually, wait, isn't this... Wait, now that I think of it, isn't The Batman, the movie we're talking about in this podcast, basically the antithesis to Snyder's version of Batman.
In a way, I'd say so. Batman doesn't kill people. He's very against it. He fucking threw the gun out of Catwoman's hand for trying to do that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this movie was originally supposed to be a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Right. I forgot he was replaced in this one.
And then
this movie's taken forever.
And then he quit. And then Matt Reeves was like, well, now what? And the studio's like, I don't know. Fucking make a Batman movie. We need to fill this slot for something. And he's like, okay. And so he just built a ground up Batman movie.
Yeah, my favorite scene in this movie is the one of the Riddler minions yelling at him about the vengeance thing, and him going, you know what? I think I've made a mistake.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Which is funny. I've actually seen people compare this to another scene from Christopher Nolan's movie, which is where the Batman guys were asking him what their difference was, or something like that.
Oh yeah, what's the difference between me and you? I'm not the one wearing hockey pants.
Yeah. So, in short, this one's a better version of that scene. Thank you. Also, and that was something. I saw some people, I guess from our side of the street on Batman, where they're just tired of the joke of Batman's power being money.
Yeah.
Which is this is the only movie that actually does not have that as his power. Everyone else is like, aha.
Why doesn't Batman just donate his money to charity? Well, you see, the charities in this city are horribly, horribly corrupt. It makes a lot of sense that he wouldn't want to do that.
I was about to mention a certain charity by name in our world. I'm like, nope, I can't do that. Don't want to do that on the podcast. I don't.
You don't want to get fucking eviscerated off the internet?
No, it is technically a charity that is, air quotes, a corrupt charity, but this is not the place for it. I have a video on them anyways, because it's, I made a video ages ago on them, where I just said, hey, they exist, no one in this community that they're for supports them in the slightest. Here's links to people who give you more details on that, because I'm new here, so go to them, make sure, whatnot, goodbye. So, we won't talk about it, but, basically, that's how the charities are there. If I remember right, in most of the movies, they have a lot of charity balls. Not a lot of change, but a lot of balls for charity with rich people in them.
So, this can get this little bit that I'm asking can get edited out or whatever, but was it Autism Speaks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Autism Speaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that charity.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to.
Okay. So and then, well, I liked all the. It's a gorgeous movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm so, I'm so happy we got this movie. I'm so happy that, we got a movie that actually looks like a movie and not a fucking sitcom filmed in a blockbuster parking lot. It's so nice to see that. It's
I'm just happy I can see. I mean, as someone who likes the more, I guess you can call it the sitcom-y, some of the rather superhero stuff, I don't know, I like enjoying watching superheroes, but it's been so hard, it's mostly been hard to watch Batman stuff because it's always just dark. I can actually see majority of this movie, so this one's just a happy, good, middle movie when it comes to that, where it's it's not too bright to be aha, what you're saying, but it's not too dark where I feel like I'm about someone's about to cut me.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an edgy movie to me, and that's sometimes rare, just as rare to me to find a movie like that as it is to find a movie that's isn't that a little too much happy?
Dude,
so, it's nice.
I'm just really tired of the Marvel look like I say
The Marvel look.
I say the Marvel look because
Yeah.
like a clear picture comes into your mind where it's like these celebrities on a like green screen that look where like each and every like character on screen looks like digitally composited into a scene. It's like, please just give me something tangible that I can touch in the scene, like anything.
Yeah. And like that's something I do basically agree with on most Marvel things. Like, I will not consider myself a Marvel stan, but like there's things where I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree on that part, on those things. There's other parts where I'm like, yeah, no. But, like, I don't have good examples, but like because we're not. We won't go into the other movies, but I mean, we were talking earlier about Thor, so we might as well go with the two movies in the same thing where we have two very polarizing topics.
Yeah.
One, from what I can tell from most people, like there are a lot of people who don't like Batman, but there are a lot of people who do like the new Thor movie, which is surprising to me, just because of its reception leading up to it has not been good in the slightest.
It is absolutely insane to me how anyone can enjoy Thor: Love and Thunder. I saw it a couple days ago, and I think it is one of the worst movies I've seen in a very long time. It is fucking miserable to watch.
Yeah.
It makes me hate every little thing that it tries to do. It's just a fucking joke, and not even a funny one at that. Just like...
I laughed, but I also had all my expectations blown out of the water because I had the lowest of all, because of every reception about it. Right down to certain actors, like hearing stories about certain actors and how they were, like, in the Thor franchise and things around that. And it's like, okay, I mean, to be fair, the like my expectations on the whole Lady Thor thing, I thought was gonna be a lot worse. It was way better than I was expecting it to be. That's for certain. Or it was like,
it's still...
I felt like at least some of them felt like characters, but there are other things that I could go, wait a minute.
Man, I just don't know what like the MCU is even trying to do anymore. After like Endgame, it's like it feels like they've just been floundering. It's like
they don't know where to go. We're in this part of the MCU where the comics have been floundering for years now.
Oh yeah.
And there's like two options from here on out. It's multiverses or oversaturating yourself with diversity. Because that's where the comics are at, kind of thing. Move the names to a new character to try and generate something new, and without saying anything specific, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and there's not a lot of in between. And the MCU that's why the MCU is struggling. Is like the show, on the show side, like Moon Knight. I still like Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight is still done very well, but the movies themselves have started to have very, very more mixed, especially for myself. Like, I still like No Way Home, because I think No Way Home has probably been our the only movie so far I've heard from all sides that's actually been accepted as a still good MCU movie. But then Multiverse of Madness is not being liked that much. Thor is technically being liked, but I'm not hearing a lot of full positive still on that one.
Yeah.
So it's that weird thing where the misses are getting bigger, I guess is what the term is. I don't know. I do like Miss Marvel. That show has so far been fine for me too. So it seems like I think they're the best way of like helping slow down and making, I don't know. I think something you said once, Sam, was like you just need an MCU thing that doesn't inherently connect back or is a continuation of something, just so you can just enjoy something in isolation now.
Exactly.
That's the main problem with it.
That's literally my biggest issue with literally the vast majority of these like properties now. And I'm not saying like just superhero. These properties in general is the fact that they all have to be connected to this grand overarching story. It's like, no, just stop. Stop what you're doing. Take what you like and just like do your own little thing with it. And then that can be it. It's fine. That's so good. You can have these one and done deals where like it feels like you can put so much more into it, and it feels way more cohesive. And it's not just this fucking clusterfuck of a thing just to say nothing and then advertise for another clusterfuck thing. Like that's my biggest issue with like. Specifically, at least right now, like Marvel is like, it's like they just keep churning out these extremely mediocre things. They have the biggest budgets of anything in this entire fucking industry, and their stuff still visually and like from a story standpoint looks like crap, like just complete crap. Where you have stuff like this, the Batman, where it's shot for relatively cheaper and looks infinitely better and blows all of this shit out of the water. Like, it's baffling.
Actually, and that's actually a funny thing to bring back into Batman is like, actually, No Way Home is in a similar boat, actually, sort of. But like, you're able to enjoy it on its own. And when you learn more about that character again, then it livens up the thing. While most of the Marvel movies have the problem of, well, did you watch parts A, B, and C? Yeah. Like, I still want to do my video on what movies do you actually need to see, because as a storyteller myself, there are things where you can go, well, I can skip. What is it called? So. In some, I don't have a good example of this, but like in some movies, you usually can just watch it, and then someone is just like, hey, all the characters know who insert character is, but the audience does not. Mm-hmm. And then you move on with the rest of the plot. But with how the MCU has worked, they have expected you to actually watch that person's origin story elsewhere, and then come to this movie. You technically don't have to, and, in storytelling, like, heck, even origin stories, you can technically watch a character's story anywhere in their timeline, as long as whatever is important to that movie is brought up in that movie, kind of thing. But if it's just left to you having to go watch something else to find it, then that's usually where the problems come. I've seen in which this is a problem in this is basically a problem I saw with another property before the MCU became this problem, where people were expected to read, what was it? I'm trying to remember. What was it? There was something where you had to watch the show, but then there's a lot of plot holes that were filled by a book series. But because people are weird and they only want to watch a show and not read, they found it really bad that they had to, go read something to rewatch it, which is its own problem. But now we have something where you can watch all of it, so it's not its own problem, because all of it's not like they released a book that says, oh hey, here's the Infinity Stone in this book series here that you'll need to read before you go watch the newest movie. No, you're watching a TV show that is set in there, or like a mini movie or a previous movie or something along those lines. So I don't know. It's a weird thing where I think they're mostly playing this by the seat of their pants now. Everything that was actually truly planned has ended with Endgame. They don't know what they want to do next exactly, so they're kind of just
just throwing shit. They're kind of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
So it feels like my thing is that probably. Actually, I'll use Multiverse of Madness as an example. Okay? Multiverse of Madness should have been the third movie, specifically. because it's supposed to set, because that's usually where at least a third movie of a trilogy or something that's a part of something bigger, should at least, that one should be moderately an advertisement on what's next of the big thing, which is kind of what the first two phases did. Everybody had their first movie to set up the Avengers, and then all their second movies and third movies helped set up Endgame. That worked out. Problem is, one, they don't know what they're trying to shotgun into multiverse as soon as possible because they're running out of things to do.
Well, because everyone loves like crossovers nowadays, and that's another thing that I find kind of dumb is like this is so much like emphasis on like reference to like the comic, or like, oh, this is a reference to this is like, oh, that's the crossover or whatever. It's like, as opposed to just, you know, telling the story. It's like, here's fucking here's Black Bolt. You remember Black Bolt? No, you don't. But it's okay because we have his show streaming on Disney Plus. Go watch it. It's, and maybe you'll figure it out. And that's I think my big issue.
I mean, so
it's frustrating.
Actually, for I think that was the one part with Multiverse Madness. Like, I didn't have any issues with most of those references because that makes sense as something with Black Bolt, Xavier, because they actually did a double whammy with Patrick Stewart there, with him being more the X-Men animated version, but he's played by an actor who played a live action Xavier.
Yeah,
I think that worked. Like, there is a time to do this stuff where it's not, like, I mean, like, one of our favorite movies of Spider-Man is Spider-Verse, which is its whole point is to not only be a good story on its own, but then is also, if you're a fan of the thing, is, like, jackpot full of it. Problem is, and on the Marvel side, and in all of these other ones, they don't know where to stop anymore. It's kind of, I don't know, it's comparing how the Easter eggs felt before, where they could be set up, but they don't have to be setups.
Oh, it was like the Infinity Gauntlet in the first first Thor movie, where it's like, oh, that's kind of neat. That's just there.
Yeah.
And then it suddenly just became the entire focus of all of the movies, and like every little thing needs to have like a reference to like this weird like comic that no one remembers, or like, oh, there's fucking Pip the Troll. I guess he's getting a trilogy of his own. It's just all of this shit. It's like, just slow down. And I'm bringing it back to this. That's why I like the Batman. The Batman is just a self-contained
We're using
story.
The Batman as our thing. We found a way to keep this still talking about. We're shite-talking Marvel while we're also looking at the.
And I'm not saying that DC is like the epitome of this show. No, they are.
No.
They have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and they just so happen to luck out with Matt Reeves and the Batman. Like,
yeah. That's the funnier part about this is that. The movie I wanted Doctor Strange 2 to be was about the MODOK dude doing his magic stealing thing, which I bet was the plan. But then Infinity War happened, and now they're trying to force Strange into helping move along some of the new stuff. Problem is, Strange is for this because it makes sense for Strange, but we haven't had enough movies with Strange as his own hero to be doing this yet. Again, we needed that MODOK. Yeah, I think it's MODOK. Is that his name?
Yeah, MODOK.
MODOK. Yeah, we needed the movie where he fights one more magic dude before he's off into another adventure of multiversing and whatnot. It's that weird thing where this movie, the main reason I found Multiverse Madness weird is it felt like a third movie rather than a second movie.
Yeah.
Right down to when him and the alternate version of that character were talking. We haven't actually watched Strange struggle with that character being his villain yet. We only know their disagreement, so their conversation sounds like Doctor Strange has already defeated that character. We never got to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And that was the strangest part about it.
And no one really seems to care. Like, they just...
Yeah.
I shit you not. Marvel posted the statistics for the MCU, and the MCU now clocks in over 100 hours of runtime. No one in their right fucking mind is gonna want to sit down and watch that, like, from front to back. And the only people I think who continue to watch it now are the people that are like, well, I guess I don't want to get lost. I kinda have to. Yeah. And that's another big issue.
This is where I apply what I call the Kingdom Hearts thing, where I pay attention to at least some of the main series stuff, and if I want to get some, like, everyone else will basically be able to compile most of this stuff for me. That if I get too lost, someone has a summary video for it to keep me caught. I mean, it's how I do comics right now. Because comics are in the same way that the MCU is turning into, right? Where I can't read every version of the continuing series of it. I'm either going to have to choose one that fits my taste the most and only watch/read that comic. Yeah. And then find the rest of the story elsewhere. Because I can't follow 100 characters with their 100 stories.
Well, yeah, it's not feasible for anyone to have to do that. People have lives. People do their own stuff. Yeah. Not everyone can afford to binge watch 6 or 7 episodes of a 5 or 6 hour show in a day, and then suddenly be ready for the next one. It's exhausting, and not everyone wants to have to do that. And that's, I think, where at least I'm feeling. I'm tired. I don't want to have to do this. And the last few things, Thor included, I just don't care anymore. I just don't. Why should I care? It doesn't seem like they're trying to build toward anything or do anything interesting. It's just, well, we need a Marvel movie for this month, and then subside, have everyone wait for the next Marvel thing next month. Here's fucking, I don't know. Here's Thor and his screaming goats. I don't fucking know. It's just so tiring.
Yeah, wait. I remember the original reason I was excited for the Thor movie, because I think I got the wrong memo about it. I didn't know it was Thor 4 at first. It was I think the plan was supposed to be Guardians 3 with Thor tagging along, which probably would have been a good movie. But no, they made this one instead.
But no, they had to undo the kind of sort of interesting thing they tried to set up in Endgame, and then immediately, double back on it in the opening of this movie. Oh, sorry, that didn't actually happen. Bye. Fuck you, I guess.
Yeah. It's a mess. I mean, and as someone who would love to make his own thing, a multimedia thing where you follow characters through books, movies, and games. I too understand. I have it all planned. I know this is someone has to follow this for a few years to actually consume it all naturally. Yeah. And I mean, it's like trying to do Zelda, right? If you wanted to treat Zelda as its own continuous story, not everyone can play through every single Zelda. They either have to play through all the main Zelda games, or all the ones that they intermittently played and stuff, and just, watch videos on the rest of them if they wanted to know any of the other stories.
Yeah.
Which is, it's just the thing. And truthfully, if we wanted to really make this more down to earth and not actually bashing anyone, look at our own history book. Okay? It will take you a history to read all your history, okay? Same thing, if you want a really good living and breathing universe, whether you're failing at it or not is besides the point. Is that there's going to be more stories in it than feasible for any human to actually consume. Okay? It's bound to happen, but there are people who are doing it better than others. I'll use Lord of the Rings. We have 4 books to read for Lord of the Rings, and you have to be a dedicated Lord of the Rings fan to actually be able to read those consistently. Every now, some people who are in most franchises, they only watch those 5 movies and nothing else. my grandfather only watches Westerns.
Yeah.
Which is like eight or so. Actually, no, it's like the MCU. It's so many movies, but like he only cares for those anyways. So him watching anything else doesn't bug him. Like he can fall asleep during that movie too, and he can binge through it. I mean, I guess you can say that for any TV show too. Once you've seen it enough, you don't have to consume everything every time you watch it again. Like I could skip the first like half of. Yeah, the first, 10 movies of Avengers and just watch from Avengers to Infinity War. Because I've seen those first parts enough times, I know where everything is.
Mm-hmm.
But, for some, a new kid trying to watch through all of this is probably going to take his entire life. Took my entire life. I was, 12 around the time the first Avengers movie came out?
Yeah, I was...
I'm 24 now, guys! It's been a while.
I feel like they're gonna have to notice some sort of drop off soon.
Yeah,
because it's either they're gonna have to figure out a way to have people do their own things without it being connected to the MCU, or they're just gonna run it till it dies.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the helpful thing with the multiverse thing. Is that yes, it will help for crossover movies, but like we've seen What If. The main thing that helps with a What If concept with your timelines is it kind of frees up people. What was it? Transformers, I think, had the same problem, where because Hasbro tried to make the aligned continuity, everyone just couldn't fit, right?
Yeah.
Was it? The aligned continuity included Transformers Prime, the War for Cybertron games, a bunch of things. And I've looked at summary things of there's some of these people who just couldn't work together on this aligned continuity Bible thing, that there were discrepancies between certain parts of their lore. There were still things that made sense, but what was it? The one someone brought up was Megatron found the insert MacGuffin thing twice without knowing what it was. He found it in the war, and then he found it in Prime, not knowing what it was. If you found it... Yeah, right? There's something here where you're if it's specifically one person writing all of this and being a primary showrunner, then none of this would have happened. One Piece is kind of an example of that. But point is, when you need more people doing that, some people want to do their own thing at some point, and they can't be bound to someone else's thing. They want to do it. So multiverse at least gives someone the creativeness to at least go, okay, now you've seen the definitive version of this for this medium of live action. Here's another version that you can consume, right?
Yeah.
If we got all three of the of the Captain America movies just with Peggy Carter in it, but them all being very slightly different. I mean, they could even peer off into a completely different movie franchise if they wanted to. Only the first movie would be the closest to being similar, but because they'd be completely disconnected, they can do whatever they want. I mean, I think that's why Moon Knight is doing pretty well, because it's playing by the rules of Moon Knight, not the Marvel Universe currently. It has gods, not I mean, to be fair, that's its own bag of things.
Yeah.
Remember when the MCU used to be a guy in an armor suit and it was, in air quotes, grounded our reality kind of thing, with the supernatural and magic being just technology?
And now everyone has a costume they can just turn on with the flip of a switch.
But what we got, we went from Asgardians being both aliens and gods, so I'm not opposed against it. I am not, but it is hilarious to me that they've ran out of room and had to somehow retcon their own magic is science thing. I mean, to be fair, I guess Thor's explanation kind of let a little bit of leeway for them to do magic in general, with Doctor Strange giving a little bit of help to that. But it is hilarious to me how it's we started this whole thing with a man in a suit, which was probably not as plausible. Maybe, I don't know how it is today, but he was just barely plausible at that time in 2008, 2009?
Yeah.
Dude in an armor suit was just barely a plausibly grounded thing. to Asgardian god aliens. My favorite thing from No Way Home is literally Eddie Brock in the end credit scene, basically being everybody else in this franchise going, to start with a man in an iron suit. What happened? Pardon?
Yeah, it feels...
At least... yeah, at least in the comics, we had, like, the Fantastic Four as the starting point. Then Spider-Man, so, like, it had more leeway in all of that.
Yeah.
It started with people with superpowers and expanded. We started with a man that was Batman in an armored suit. So a lot more is a lot harder to... Things have changed. Things have definitely changed. Like, I wish it luck. I hope we get more... Things that are still set... That's the other thing. Things can be set in a universe and still be its own thing. I think that's what I like the most about Ant-Man... The two Ant-Man movies, actually. Because in isolation, they're still... Yeah, I mean, I've heard what you said about Ant-Man and the Wasp, but, like, they're pretty good isolated movies that take place in the universe that didn't need to fuel back into it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it was its own, like, heck, it's even in its own genre of, like, I wouldn't consider it mostly a comedy, but it is a heist movie first and a superhero movie second. So it does what I think... I would say Ant-Man is what they need to start doing, because there's not a lot of overarching things left to do, to my knowledge of the comics. There's not a lot of other things to do crossovers with, other than, the multiverse breaking apart. But other than that, I think everyone should just start going into their corners and just build their own individual franchises, and either be a what-if story, or just a story that happens to be in the same universe that something has happened in.
Yeah.
And I think, like, they can say, oh, the blip happened, or Iron Man's dead, or, like... But they can be allowed to now just do their own thing with, like, 5 rules that they don't have to break, or something like that. That they, like, Moon Knight has its own gods to worry about, which, hilariously enough, weren't in Thor Love and Thunder, I would like to add. Every god showed up except those guys. Wonder if they were busy with something. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. All I have to say in this entire scenario is I have no faith that Fantastic Four will be good. Absolutely zero faith. They are my favorite. Them and Spider-Man are my favorite Marvel things, and I have zero faith that it's gonna turn out good.
I have more faith in them re-releasing the original version of the one that failed horribly. Because I keep hearing things about the original body horror cut of that one. And even though at the time when I was watching that movie, I wasn't a big horror fan or into, like, darker stuff, I'm now more like, I'll watch it, I'll be depressed for a few days, go watch some Spider-Man and be done with my life. The older I've gotten, the more I'm like, can we get that? Can we get the actual version of that Fantastic Four movie that was like a horror movie? Because it seems better than the movie I got. So, and I don't know. I could say the same thing for, like, Multiverse of Madness. Until after I've watched the movie and I've heard everyone's thoughts, I'm more curious about if the movie that was originally intended would be better than the one I got.
Turning Fantastic Four into a body horror movie just is so... It's not even the Fantastic Four at that point. They're not the Fantastic Four. They don't do anything. They're just... I'm not going to get into it because that's not a tangent we need to get into. All I have to say is that the Fantastic Four is my favorite Marvel thing, and I doubt that they're ever going to do it properly.
You like this specific way of how they're done, kind of thing, right?
I like the comics. They're great. They're not superheroes. Yeah. They're fucking scientists. I think that's dope.
Oh yeah. Hello? Ooh. Okay, I gotta knock a beat to it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. With how the Thing is usually treated, I just find the body horror angle just fascinating in general. Would I watch the movie more than once? Absolutely not. But it would be an interesting take. That's my main thing about it.
Yeah. So, moral of the story.
Someone would like it.
Moral of the story, watch The Batman. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's great.
If you want a break from everything, and like I said, it's not as depressing as you would expect it to be, which is great. Like I said, as someone who likes, go-lucky superhero stuff, that's that's the worst thing. Like, even talking about Thor, like, hilariously enough, if it was separated from my actual likes, that whole subplot of Stormbreaker having the relationship metaphor with Mjolnir, Stormbreaker, and Thor. If it wasn't Thor, I'd enjoy it even more. But I'm just a sucker for inanimate objects, or sentient weapons in general. That's why I like the cloak in Doctor Strange, even though I don't think the cloak was sentient originally. It's only in the MCU it is. But I enjoy that stuff. It's great dynamics. Problem is, it's in a Thor movie, so I know a lot of people didn't like it at the end of the day. But, in short, it's in my thing, so there are parts of it that's not just, it's Marvel, it's Disney, I like it. It's more of, it's just in my comfort zone of content I like. But Batman is in a good spot of adjacentness that I can still like it and be like, oh, yeah, I can see why people like it. It's not straight up, I don't know. It's some days I can't even enjoy Man of Steel, okay?
Oh, I hate Man of Steel, 100%. It is
possibly it's too depressing.
It is possibly the worst superhero thing I have ever had to endure.
Yeah.
It is the biggest bastardization of a character I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But,
this isn't the greatest comparison, but Brightburn was a better, dark, edgy Superman story than Man of Steel was, just saying. But that's probably because it didn't use Superman.
The best Superman deconstructions are always when it's not Superman. Yeah, because deconstructing Superman isn't possible, because if you want to do a fucking dark Superman, you're just gonna not make him Superman at the end of the day. Which is why you have, Omni-Man from fucking Invincible and, Homelander from The Boys, who are their own characters, but also still are deconstructions of the Superman archetype.
Hilariously enough, my own superhero universe I've been writing for, who knows how long at this point, does not actually have a Superman deconstruction. There's, people who are, kind of fit it, but I have, only, one character that's technically just takes up, he's the strong man. His suit looks like Superman and everything, but he's not but he's the generic, I'm air quotes Superman of this universe. But other than that, I don't have a deconstruction because I don't care. I think, my favorite version of any of those characters is literally just All Might. But that's because he's not a deconstruction, he's a new version. He's just a new version of Superman.
He's just Japanese Superman, yeah.
He's just Japanese.
He's Japanese Superman. Period. End of story.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And, the one person I watched is just, sometimes with Superman, you just get tired of seeing, I don't know, it's if we had a bunch of Spider-Man where he's just evil for no reason for a good chunk of years, and it's I'm good, guys. We don't need to do this anymore. It's not like it's not like the world's depressing or anything. It's just this is the general way I like this archetype, and I'm done with the other one. That, and it just starts looking the same after a while of what do you call that what do we call that in school, where the person goes, we all did this one change and now we're cool, but because you all did it, it's not cool anymore.
Out of fashion.
I just want the original now.
Out of fashion?
Yeah. I don't know. Is it out of fashion? I don't know. Oh no, that was the other thing. It was some dudes watched Watchmen and went, yeah, that's how we should write Superman from here on out. But that's not actually what the guy meant. It's one of those things.
Oh yeah.
Right. right? Everyone thought they understood what everyone wanted. I mean, you can say the same thing for most dark versions of Batman. To bring it back to Batman, right? Everyone saw Watchmen, and I was like, yeah, that's what Batman is, right? Like, saw it as like an actual deconstruction of Batman, but he wasn't. It
wasn't. It wasn't even like a deconstruction of Batman. It was a deconstruction of just comic books in general around the time.
Yeah. And what was it? There's so I don't know. I've been looking into a couple things where some of these.
It was.
I think even the guy who wrote Watchmen is like apologized about this whole thing because he's like, guys, I actually like this genre. What are you all? Who are you people?
It was Alan.
Stop it!
It was Alan Moore taking the piss out of comic books because that's all he had been seeing at that point.
Yeah, it's not like he entirely just like he was just okay, guys, look, stop! You've made a mistake. I didn't want it like this. So that's why we have like so many really bad takes on Batman in general because they think they're taking the right take because one dude did it the right way and then did it wrong, and then everyone did it wrong ever since. Now, just some of us are just tired of it. If we want to talk about death to an industry, here it is. I want the lighthearted stuff back. Wait.
Bring back the bring back the fucking bat nipples, you cowards. bring back extremely flamboyant and gay Batman. Please, I'm begging you.
I don't think me and Katie talked about this in the No Way Home one, but did you hear about the hilariousness about the box office about that?
Box office for No Way Home?
Yeah, for No Way Home.
No.
Because so it did better than the two primary movies that did the best that weekend was No Way Home and Encanto. Okay?
Okay.
And I was like, death to the industry because Disney owns these things and they did great. And I'm like, guys, you do know it's been like a good depressing 2 years. You think some people would just want to watch funny musical movie with a little bit of family drama and Spider-Man. The other 4 movies that were coming out that weekend were all depressing to some extent. And one of them was like a musical that no one wanted a remake of anyways. It's like, how dare they not look at my edgy, air quotes, I don't remember. I think they're apparently good dark movies or something like that. But like, it felt like someone was like, my edgy movie didn't get an indie movie, did not get a recognition in the theaters because everyone watched Spider-Man and Encanto. It's like, guys, no, a lot of common people really just want a break, guys. I swear to you, there are a lot of people who just want to be entertained for 5 minutes while they. Yeah, I don't want to go into any other thing, but you get my point, right?
Comic books are a thing.
Comic books are great. Batman was good. It's a good happy medium for those people where if you want to be entertained and a break from life, it's not going to depress you more. That's what we're saying, guys. It's good. It's good for all ages as long as you're like an adult, because there's some things that you probably shouldn't.
It's good for all. It's good for all ages if you are okay with a rat chewing through someone's skull.
Okay, it's PG-13. If you're 13 and up, go watch it.
So,
you look so different.
Is that where we want to try and end it, or?
I think that's it. I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
Katie's got a good, hour and a half.
Yeah. Good hour and a half to work with.
I don't remember how Katie ends these things, so either Katie needs to insert what our usual outro thing is, because I let Katie do all that. Mm-hmm. I have absolutely no clue. I think it's leave a like or thing. I don't know what we do on Spotify. I think we're on Spotify. Where are we? What platforms is this podcast on again? I don't remember. I don't do these things, guys. I come here to show up, make funnies, and let someone else do the editing work.
We're on Twitter. We're on fucking YouTube. We're on Spotify.
Yeah.
We're on SoundCloud. We're on fucking X Hamster.
Did you just look
Plex.
it up?
We're on. I don't know. I'm just listing a bunch of fucking random platforms and hoping that.
Do we have it in our? Wait, is it in our podcast chat where we are?
Hey, Caden, can you please make a channel on X Hamster and upload the podcast to it?
No! We can't do that! I'm the first one to say, our lawyers can't allow this, Sam! No!
We
have threads. We have threads in our Discord chat thing here. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what we do. We have other ones. We've mentioned No Way Home, Rescue Rangers, a few of the other episodes. Check them out. We enjoyed them. Sam's not there, but you know.
When am I?
You.
I'm not there. When am I? Hardly ever.
And like, you know, links in the description for like all of our individual stuff and social medias as well. As I am. What did we just slap? I slapped myself like a fly was on me for no reason.
Good job.
So yeah, YouTube channel, Twitch and things. I'm pretty sure they're in the descriptions last time I checked. Sam's probably gonna be down there too. Captain Block. Insert practically everything as well. Again, check out the description because that's usually where these things are. If you're those people who don't read descriptions, I don't know if Spotify has descriptions now that I think of it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're not looking at descriptions for links and things to check people out. I don't want to do that.
You're a big
People
silly.
just don't read descriptions, and I don't know why.
Read the description, you big silly.
I read descriptions. I don't know why else no one else in these communities do. It's so weird to me. There's usually links there. Why are you asking in the comments for sources? It's in the description. Just look there. Okay. That's its own bag, by the way. But that's it. I don't know what our sign out is at all. I'm gonna hold on a minute. We'll just
hold up, everybody. Joey has to look up the sign out.
I have to look up the sign out. Where's YouTube? Where's where we are? Give me 2 seconds. And this is not giving me what I want. Where? I'm sub to this, right? Where is it? Down here? Where are you? I'm a professional. I've been doing stuff like this for like how long now? I mean, I'm not paid, but I've been doing this stuff for years.
You have experience, nonetheless.
I've experience, and I really suck at it. It's a W, right? Gosh darn it, YouTube. You need a... Both platforms I used, for some reason, made it harder for you to find people you're sub to, and I don't know why. There it is. Because sometimes it's in alphabetical order, and sometimes it isn't.
I love the fact that you have to pull up the fucking podcast just so you can remember how to end the podcast.
I am sorry.
This is possibly the most Joey thing that could happen right now.
It probably is. This is like early years kind of thing where... Because like now, like most of my outros, I know them by heart. But like I've only done this, like 5 other times? And like... They have not been consistent enough for me to remember what the outro is. I know what the opening is, because that's the easy part. I've at least heard that a few times.
This is great.
Alright, it's just, we just say goodbye, but I have to make a note here. So I listened to the last, 5 minutes of this to hear it.
Okay.
And it's literally me talking to you about doing Batman. I highly recommend you to come over to the Rescue Rangers episode and listen to the end of it. It's the irony of me hearing this while recording that podcast episode is great. But yeah, it's just we just say goodbye. That's it. Nothing special. No wonder I don't remember it. So, thank you very much, everybody. Say goodbye, Sam.
Bye, Sam.